Hey everyone, it's patch day. Besides the battle pass, a new gem, and some changes to loss of control for PvP, the Diablo Immortal Devs adjusted a lot of skills and legendary essences. I looked into those modifications today for the Barbarian, tested them, and what they hold for you? Well, stay tuned. The adjustments focus around 4 of our skills: the Hammer of the Ancients, the Cleave, the Furious Charge, and the Grab skill. So what they did mostly was adjusting some damage boosts for the Cleave and the Dash. They did an animation fix for the Hammer and the Grab, and they added some utility for the Grab. So we will look over the 4 different skills now and all of the update notes step by step. For the Hammer of the Ancient, they said they optimized the cast animation speed for this skill. So how does it actually look like? When we look here for the Breaker's Wheel, with the most common use of the Hammer of the Ancient in PvP, I would say right now, I would say it's slower than before. So I don't know why, but they lowered the casting speed of that skill. It was really cool to have it fast available, but now it's like regular. The issue is it could be cancelled now by any knockback or anything if the cast speed is too slow. So not really good. Let's try it out with the others. The Ancient cast, I think it's the same, it did not change at all. So for PvE content where you go with the double Ancient, no benefit here. And let's check, I would say, the Peace and Quatus, because that's could be a use if it would be faster. But honestly, it looks the same as well. So they kind of ruined our hammer. I don't know why. Next is the Cleave. Here they went for 2 different skills, the Throwing Axis and the Channeled one. They reduced the cooldown for the Cleave overall from 9 to 6 seconds. The Axe of Ray, which is the Throwing Axis, they put in a 25% additional damage. The Lurkers, which is the Channeling one, they nearly put in 30% damage addition and a 25% additional bleed damage to the already existing one. And then they have the SWAT's Reach cooldown from 9 to 6 seconds. Well, honestly, I don't know what they want with that, because this essence is not reducing any cooldown. It's just that the Cleave goes in a circle. So I don't know why this could be related to any cooldown. I don't know if it's a mistake or if they just did it as they generalized the cooldowns, but I don't know. Okay. So how does it look in PvP? I went with a channeled Cleave, the demo to with the Terra Summit to make me immune to CC, and the dash. So I can dash to the enemy, be immune to any knockbacks, and then channel them. It's pretty cool, to be honest. You can put out quite some damage now because it has a lot of many small hits that could crit. I combined it with the Gloom set, the 4-piece. So you see, you can produce some damage. With the demo, you are free to channel that skill for a while. You could even get more enemies at the same time. And with a better damage now, yeah, it actually starts to hurt. It could still use a bit more damage, but yeah, it's not that bad. You could play it in PvP as well. Of course, in general, the skill is more like a PvE skill, definitely. But even for PvP, it's quite fun. For the other essence, you could go for the Throwing Axis, which is an old build. I think for two or three seasons ago, it was pretty common to use it, to have your dash, your Wrath of the Berserker, Fire Aura, and then just use that Cleave Axis with a knockback on the shoulders. So you could interrupt before initiating. You could use it as an initiation to stop the enemies. And of course, you can initiate with a dash and then use it for disturbing casters or DHs which are further away with that knockback. It's producing quite some good damage because it's a double hit. So 2 small hits better than 1 big one because of that cap you get in PvP. So yeah, it's nice. Next skill they adjusted is our Furious Charge. So they put an overall 22% additional damage for the charge, which is nice. They have the Screaming Fury adjusted for another 15% damage. The Tracker's Rage chest, they switched it for the mastery from cooldown to damage now, so 90% max damage you can get. And then they added 2 different modifications for the skill Determination. It has a higher range now to hit more enemies and produces 50% more damage. And the Rams in pace, same. It has a higher range and a 2-second stun now at the end. So it's quite interesting. So what have they done? If we compare the leap versus the charge, you see that if you go for the Metal of Mine, Pants and the Shocking Chaos, which are the most common used pieces and both influence the damage, you can get a 90% damage on the metal. You have a 10% cooldown when this piece is awakened. On the Shocking Chaos, you have an 18% damage mastery and a 10% damage when awakened. So when we look at this and compare it now with the Furious Charge, you have the Tracker's Rage here now after the modification that has a 90% damage mastery and a 10% cooldown awakening. So same as for the Metal of Mine pants. And for the Screaming Fury pants, which are the most common used pants for the Furious Charge, you have a 80% damage mastery and a 10% damage when awakened. So it is now leveled. The Tracker's Rage and the Leap, or the Furious Charge and the Leap, produce nearly the same damage. So you can go for the combination you like more. Point is, do you want to go for a hammer or a chain spear build? Go for the Leap. Do you want to go for mostly primary attacking and charging? Then you go for the Furious Charge. The only difference is the Leap produces a stun and the Charge produces a knockback. Knockback is not connected to the potency, so it's better for the low resonance player. For the potency, if you have a higher potency, you would like the stun because it's a total loss of control. You have additional effects on that, so then you would, I think, go more for the Leap. So what does it mean for us? If we look at the past builds, the current builds, what we have, it's pushing the Furious Charge builds again a bit more. In the past season, more and more people were playing Leap. Now I think it's more shifting back to the Furious Charge, and this I think will result in more people playing the last season's build again. I think many of you are still playing it and it's still valid. It's a good build, definitely. So it's focused on the Screaming Fury Charge with the Heartless Terror to be immune to CC. You have the Nature's Temper to produce additional hits, which levels your, or which improves your damage. The Sundered Legacy with the Fire Aura to give more damage. And of course you're focusing on the Lacerate to produce primary attack damage. So this build is pretty good for nearly everything you want to do PvP related. The adjustments on the both other essences, the Rams and the Determination, are more like, in my opinion, PvE related ones. They will produce more damage, but honestly, I tried them both in PvP. You can use them, definitely. But in my opinion, the Screaming Fury is still better. So I don't see the benefit for going for those two. In PvE, on the other hand, I think they can produce quite a good amount of damage. So if you're looking for low resonance, a set you can play, the Determination is pretty good because it has a very high damage output. The Rams is very good as well with the stun. Just gives you a little bit more of control here, and of course let you imply any loss of control effects, additional damage, loss of control and stuff like this. So both of them could be very viable in the dungeons, because there are the layers, because there you need often more damage, and the Furious Charge itself, it has a small area of effect. Those two have a higher area of effect. And when you go for the, I think the Rams, yeah, it's the Rams. If you go for the Rams, then you can focus on any sprint or outlast related builds because you collect the enemies and you can then do your firestorm already to the collected enemies, which works far better than just a Furious Charge where the enemies are scattered around you and you need to kind of push into every direction to get all the enemies into your damage. So it could be very good for outlast builds, and the determination is just, yeah, it's a very high damage output skill. You see, you get up to 400k hits here. It's really producing a good amount of damage. So lastly, we're going to the most interesting one, the grab. They added a cooldown reduction from 9 to 7 seconds, worked on the animation for the initial grab. They added a 2-second stun if you throw an enemy with the basic grab skill. And for the essence on the main hand, the Hewer, they increased the damage as well. They increased the damage for the initial dash and then for the actual throw. And they added, which is pretty cool, an immunity to knockback and control effects during your charge. So this is quite interesting. How does it look in the battleground? Because I think that's the only place where you actually need it. I started with the Hewer. So you see, you charge pretty fast, you throw the enemy, you do some decent damage, it's not that much, but you control one enemy for a rather short amount of time. In my opinion, you can control the direction a bit better, but it feels like it's a lot shorter, the duration, than before. So better control, but shorter. I, of course, combined it with the Vithus to move a bit faster during my dash, and with the Gloom, 4-piece Gloom, to have a bit of more damage output. Yeah, it's nice. You can control some things, but it's not always working as good as you would hope. So in this case here, I tried to grab one and jump into the whole crowd, but you see I'm not really doing crazy damage or something. So it's really more focused on a single person control, I would say. The basic skill, on the other hand, I like even more without the hero essence. So there you grab an enemy and throw it into whatever direction you want. So see, you can just kick out someone out of the idol. You just take him and put him away. That's pretty nice. It's not producing that much damage, but in this case, you now have the 2-second stun. So you can throw one enemy into a bunch of others and they all get stunned for a short amount of time. It's nice. You can actually really clear an idol from a strong Crusader. Just need to be aware of that he's not immune to CC. Then the skill cooldown gets triggered. But if you cannot grab someone, if it's not possible because it's too far away or something, the cooldown will not get activated, which is pretty nice. On the other hand, with the Hewer, you anyway activate it because you dash. So look at this one. I really love it. That's in combination with a hammer, one of the most interesting usage of that skill. We have a Crusader here. We take him. He's thrown somewhere away, and we prison him in our hammer stone wall. So he's totally lost there. He can't do anything. So much for the adjustments. I think overall it's not that a big deal. It's cool because they pushed the Furious Charge a bit, so many people will be happy with that additional damage. They tried to improve the grab. Honestly, I think they enabled it for further changes. They opened that skill, but they didn't finish it. It's not that good yet. And they opened some doors for low resonance players, I think, with the cleave, with the dashes, to just do more in PvE content. So that's it. I hope my opinion on those changes can help you. And if you have any thoughts on this, feel free to reach out to me in the comments or on Discord. Otherwise, see you on the next video and don't forget to subscribe.